Let's see if the RTX 4070 is enough to enjoy the latest AAA games of 2024 on a 1440p monitor using the highest graphics quality presets. I'm using the GIGABYTE WINDFORCE OC RTX 4070 paired with the Ryzen 5 7600X PC build. Before we get to that, I would like to remind you that I also have a PC hardware unboxing channel. We are just 411 subscribers away from 1000, so please help me get this channel to 1000 subscribers. That would make me very happy, and you can also see what is upcoming on the main channel, because first I unbox the hardware on this channel, and only then I am testing it on the main channel that you're watching right now. The link to the unboxing channel is in the description as well as in the comments below, or you can simply search for iVadim Unbox on YouTube. Let's start our testing with Hellblade 2, which is one of the most graphically demanding games of this year. We are at 1440p native resolution, DLAA is enabled, and we are using the very highest graphics quality preset, which is high. And right from the start, this does not look promising at all. We are getting 40 plus FPS in one of the less demanding scenes in the game. Yes, sometimes you will get 50, but let's see how far down this FPS will go. Right now we are experiencing 30 plus FPS, and I suspect that this is mainly because this game has ray tracing, and that eats up a lot of resources. Ray tracing is still very expensive, especially for mid-range GPUs. Maybe we can get a good experience using the medium graphics quality preset? Let's have a look. Yes, this is better. We're getting 60 FPS in this location here. However, that means that the FPS will indeed drop below 60 in some of the most demanding areas of the game. Like right now we are at 49 FPS. So while this is a pretty good experience, still, 47, but I still prefer having 60 FPS in this game, because it has some beautiful combat, and we just don't want to experience that choppiness that is 40 FPS. I wonder, will we be able to achieve a 60 plus FPS experience if we select low graphics preset? And it looks like this might be it. It is quite possible that we'll be able to stay, if not above 60 at all times, at least close to 60. So let's see, 58, 60, 61... Will the FPS drop again below 60? Yes, once again, 58, 57. Yeah, that is wild. 56. It is wild that the RTX 4070 cannot keep up with the latest, most demanding games at 1440p, even if we use the lowest graphics quality preset. However, I must say that even low graphics presets still looks amazing in this game, way better than medium and possibly even high in some games. Textures look fine, rocks are beautiful, trees look great, and the lighting effects are still decent. Character models also look nice and highly detailed, even though this is a low quality preset. But let's go back to high graphics quality preset and try achieving that 60 plus FPS experience using resolution upscaler or possibly even frame generation, because that is a very viable option. After all, DLSS quality mode looks pretty good at 1440p resolution, so let's try that. This is better, 60 FPS, well, almost 60 FPS. However, once we start descending further into the forest, the FPS will surely drop below 60. And there we go, 50, 48, 46. Yeah, even DLSS quality doesn't help us that much in achieving that smooth 60 FPS experience. So we must find other ways to improve our experience. Let's try enabling frame generation. Okay, now this is promising. Check it out. I think we will be able to stay above 60 FPS using these settings. This is high graphics quality preset, DLSS upscaling set to quality, and frame generation is enabled. And indeed, we're staying well above 60 FPS. Very nice. And the image quality is absolutely fine. No issues whatsoever. This game is better played with a controller, and even with frame generation enabled, controls feel fine. It is absolutely fine. But let's see if mouse and keyboard feel as good. Yes, indeed. Mouse feels very responsive, no issues. Well, there you have it. You cannot have a consistent 60 plus FPS experience at native 1440p using the RTX 4070 in Hellblade 2, which is one of the most demanding games of this year. If you want to use the highest graphics quality preset, like I'm doing right now, you have to enable DLSS quality as well as frame generation. Although I can't say that this is a bad experience by any means, it is absolutely beautiful, no issues, everything works fine. I cannot spot any major visual issues with this graphics settings configuration. Next up is Ghost of Tsushima, and this game is far less GPU demanding than Hellblade 2, so let's see how it does using very high graphics quality preset and native 1440p resolution, no DLSS, no frame generation for now, but we'll also check them out regardless of the performance that we'll get at native. And have a look at this is promising. 70 plus FPS in the Golden Temple area? That is nice. So yeah, there are still games that are coming out in 2024 that are very much okay with running at 60 plus FPS native 1440p resolution. The frame rate and frame time graphs are absolutely nice and flat. That's what we want to see. This is a very smooth experience indeed. Oh, and check this out. Even in this area right here, we are still getting 70 plus FPS. And I think over here, yeah, 69 FPS, very nice. Yeah, there you have it. And we're using 10 gigabytes of video memory. The GPU is sucking down just over 190 watts of power. Let's see how many more frames per second we'll get with DLSS frame generation. So right now in this scene we are experiencing 76 FPS. Let's go ahead and enable DLSS frame generation, and it added about 10 frames. Not bad, but also not very impressive. This is still not enough to get that consistent 90 FPS experience if you want to lock the FPS at 90. Now let's disable frame generation and enable DLSS upscaling set to quality. Whoa, check it out. Upscaling is actually doing a pretty good job compared to frame generation in this game. We are already getting 90 plus FPS. That is without frame generation. Yeah, this is nice. If you are after a more fluid experience than 60 FPS, then just enable DLSS quality in this game and lock your FPS at 90. Lastly, let's see what happens when we add frame generation into the mix. That is DLSS frame generation. We'll also check out AMD's frame generation next. And this is not quite enough to get the FPS up to that 120 mark. That is like the next level after 90. Yeah, this is not worth it, I don't think. But if you don't want to lock your FPS and you want as many frames as possible on your screen, then this is a viable option to get over 100 FPS. But we can also use AMD's FSR 3 frame generation, and you can use it with DLSS upscaling enabled. That is pretty cool. So let's do that. DLSS set to quality and AMD frame generation. Ooh, check it out. AMD's frame generation is generating a lot more frames, so you can get that 120 FPS experience if you use DLSS set to quality and AMD's frame generation instead of NVIDIA's. Although I must say that AMD's frame generation still doesn't look as nice as NVIDIA's, so I guess this is a quality over quantity kind of argument. But I can't say that AMD's frame generation is a bad experience by any means. It is fine. The last game I want to check today is Horizon Forbidden West. This is another Sony Studios game, and we are using very high graphics preset, native 1440p resolution, no DLSS upscaling or frame generation for now. And in this area, which is quite GPU demanding, we are getting 60 plus FPS consistently. However, there's one place that I want to visit where the FPS drops even further. Normally, that is. I've seen 63 just then, but I don't see a problem with this. We're still staying above 60, 62. Yeah, so 62 is the lowest number that I've seen. This is great. Check it out. In some scenes we are getting well above 70, even 80 from time to time. And the gameplay is nice and smooth, as illustrated by the frame rate and frame time graphs. Check it out, they are nice and flat. What about frame generation? Will it work fine in this game? We're currently getting 71 FPS, and let's enable frame generation to see how many more frames will we get. We're getting 10 extra frames per second exactly. Yeah, this is not a lot, but it's still something. The image is now more fluid, so if you like high refresh rates, then frame generation will help you achieve a better experience in the latest games. Now let's disable frame generation and try upscaling DLSS quality. Let's give it a go. And while the FPS is above 90 right now, check out that frame time and frame rate graphs. Yeah, the experience is not as smooth. I don't know why that is. I've tried disabling and enabling NVIDIA's reflex. Actually, I've reloaded the game several times to make sure that we are getting good performance, but it doesn't help, which is very strange indeed. I can't say that this is horrible, because we are not getting stutters. If we were getting stutters, you would see a lot more aggressive fluctuations on that frame time graph. So I guess this is fine, but it's not ideal. Let me try and restart my PC. Sometimes software just breaks and you have to restart the PC just to get it working right again. And the full PC restart didn't help. Check it out, that frame rate graph is still not as flat as I would like to see it. Yeah, that is a shame. Let's see if we can rectify that by disabling NVIDIA Reflex, because sometimes that does mess with frame rates. And no, it's the same. Same result. One last configuration left to check is NVIDIA's DLSS set to quality, and let's add frame generation into the mix. It's not quite possible to achieve a 120 FPS experience, but we're getting well above 90, So it is possible to just lock the FPS at 90 and enjoy the game like that. Let's give it a try. I'm using RTSS to lock my FPS at 90. Will it feel good? Something is off. Hold on, let me just disable that overlay and see. The image is quite stuttery for some reason. Yeah, I don't like that. And that just shows that frame time and frame rate graphs aren't always the best way to analyze what's going on. Your eyes should be the judge of your experience, basically, because this is not good. It is just stuttery. I don't know. I don't like this experience. So I guess the best way is just to leave that FPS uncapped and enjoy the game like this. Because check this out, now the gameplay is nice and smooth. Even though I haven't changed any graphic settings. Yeah, be careful when you cap your FPS. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. In conclusion, you can still count on the RTX 4070 to deliver a good 60 plus FPS experience on a 1440p monitor in the latest AAA games of 2024, using even the highest quality presets. However, it is not every game. As you've seen with Hellblade 2, you have to go down as low as the lowest graphics quality preset if you want to use the RTX 4070, if you want to play it at native 1440p. And there will be more of those GPU demanding games coming later this year, as well as in 2025 and beyond. So it appears that the RTX 4070 is actually starting to show its age. So it might be a good idea to think about buying the RTX 4070 Super instead if you want to play at 1440p native. I have a video demonstrating the 4070 Super performance in these games as well. I'll link it in the description below. If you're interested in buying any of the products featured in this video, then you can find them at the links in the description below. Also, let me know in the comments what do you think about all this, and don't forget to reward my work with a like if you enjoyed watching this video, and subscribe for more if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.